It's Henderson in goal, isn't it?
Henderson in goal, yeah. Ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, mate.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Football Philosophy channel, and the team news is out a little bit early. I've got a few newspaper reports that I've taken to see what the papers thought the team was going to be, but the team's already out, and the team is, hopefully I get this right, hopefully my able assistant can just check as I'm saying it. I think we've got Henderson in goal, we've got Wan-Bissaka at right back, we've got Bailey and Maguire, I don't think that's a surprise, playing at centre back. Telles is getting a start at left back. McTominay and Fred in midfield. There was a doubt about McTominay, but he's been named in the starting lineup. I don't know what Nemanja Matic has done wrong. It's a Europa League game. I'm absolutely astonished that he's not in the lineup. As I said, I've got some of the newspaper ones in front of me. Two of those that I had in front of me thought Matic would play. And, when he has played, he hasn't let us down. And I really don't understand why he's just getting frozen out all of a sudden, all of the time. I don't expect him to play all the time. But there you go. It's McTominay and Fred. It's Bruno at number 10. A lot of people might have thought Van der Beek would have got a run, but he's not travelled. I think Van der Beek and Cavani, said they both had a knock and didn't travel. And Dan James is getting a run out on the flank. They've said that Martial had a knock as well and was doubtful. Just check if Martial's on the bench for me, by the way.
Martial is on the bench.
Martial's on the bench. But they did say he was doubtful. Like they said, McTominay was doubtful. How they'll line up front, I'm not exactly certain. But obviously, Rashford seems to prefer it on the left. And they do talk about Greenwood being more natural as a number 9. It could be very interesting tonight. I'll have a stab at it. I think, because Dan James seems to be pretty much okay on either flank, or a lot of people watching might think he's equally as bad on either flank. I think he's equally as decent on either flank. I think Dan James will start wide on the right, and I think Rashford... Look, there's an obvious option. Greenwood often goes on the right. James obviously plays often on the left. So it could be Greenwood on the right, it could be James on the left and Rashford at 9. But there is this thing out there that, everybody seems to think Greenwood will be a number 9 and should be a number 9. I've got a feeling we might see him at number 9 tonight and James on the right, and then Rashford can play in his more normal position wide on the left. So it's going to be very interesting to see how that lines up. Anybody watching yet?
Yeah. There's a few.
Any questions coming through already? Yeah. We'll make it a quick one tonight. We're babysitting it tonight as well, aren't we?
Mr. Fister, bloody hell, no Matic, insanity.
Yeah.
Mateus, Ricky's fuming.
I'm fuming. Matic isn't playing. I am.
BL Gamer, he's really underestimating Sociedad. Sociedad have got some class players.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't know if he underestimating him, because there's so many of his regular starters in here. His stars: Greenwood, Bruno, Fred, McTominay. The keepers get swapped around anyway. I don't think you can really knock him for giving Henderson a game. Wan-Bissaka's playing, Maguire's playing. A lot of people, maybe Ollie wouldn't agree with it, but a lot of people think Bailey's the main centre back and not Henderson, so you can't really knock that. Not Lindelof. And then obviously Telles, I think most people would be claiming that Telles has to get a run out at left back. Midfield is McTominay and Fred, which it'd be McTominay and Fred if we were playing City today or Liverpool. So you can't knock that. Greenwood would be playing, Rashford would be playing, and Martial and Cavani are injured. Well, Cavani's injured. They've said Cavani's not on the bench.
He's not even travelled, I believe, Cavani. Yeah. So, and then Martial supposedly had a knock. So I don't think he is taking it lightly. It might be. Apart from Shaw for Telles, I think most people would argue that Shaw is the best left back. And probably Dan James will be in most people's lineups, but Cavani and Martial might not be fully fit, and Cavani's not travelled. He might be the only next option, and if you're in the camp that Bailey should be playing anyway and not Lindelof, this might be, if you think Bailey's better than Lindelof and most people think Shaw's better than Telles, that's two swaps. It's an even balance, if you like. Apart from Shaw for Telles, it is as strong a team as we can field.
Yeah.
It is as strong a team as
in the eyes of the manager.
In the eyes of the manager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not in my eyes.
And in the eyes of most of the fans. And in fact, the eyes of most of the pundits. it's as strong a team as we can field.
Bill and Gill, where is Mata, Ricky? It's a disgrace.
Is Mata on the bench, by the way?
Mata is on the bench, correct. Yeah, the bench is De Gea. 2 goalies on the bench. Right. De Gea, Grant, Lindelof, Twanzebe, Shaw, Williams, Mata, Matic, Ahmad, Marshall, and Shortire.
Right. What position does he play, that Shortire? I've not watched him yet.
Don't know.
Is he a striker? I think he might be. Anybody answer us in the comments if you can.
Someone let us know. Thomas Omar, we will lose this with this team.
The team's not much different than what he could. Mind you, Thomas might say, even though they've got injuries, you know, you could say it's a weakened team, but if it's weakened because of injuries, you can't help it, can you? I mean, Cavani and Marshall are both supposed to be injured or carrying knocks.
Yeah, Conrad saying Matic should be playing, and C saying, what's your thoughts on Matic's treatment?
Well, it's a disgrace. It's an absolute disgrace.
Talk about underappreciated by your club.
Yeah.
It's astonishing.
When we played at Goodison, look, Everton had a full strength team out, and when we played there, I know it was a League Cup time, they had a full strength team out. He ran the show.
Yeah.
You know, he ran the show. We beat him 2-0. Did he play at Burnley when we won 0-0? I think he's played in 1 game where it's gone wrong for us, and 3 games where we absolutely dominated the game. That's his last 4 appearances.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a little bit of a way back now, but he played in 3 games not 3 games in a row, but 3 games out of 6 or 7. But the 3 games that he played were the best performances that we had. Such as one was Everton away, I think one was Burnley away. Can't remember the other one. I'll tell you what, he played against. I think he played against Wolves at Old Trafford. I mean, all decent performances. I just don't get it. I'm completely bemused by it.
Yeah, it's strange. Tom Hazelwood, Rick, can you tell me what the point of having Matic at the club is if you can't start a game like this? He's getting so little game time, isn't he?
It is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, in my eyes, he's the pick of the bunch. But, okay, even if I'm mistaken, even if he isn't the pick of the bunch, nobody could argue that we do particularly badly when he plays. And other people, why does Telles get games at left? Look, surely this is obvious. How many people would disagree with this? Surely Shaw is better than Telles in a bigger way than Fred is better than Matic. I mean, I think Matic is better than Fred. But do you understand what I mean? Is why does Telles keep getting a game? You know what I mean? Why does he think like that? That player's. I don't think Telles is as close. Well, it's hard to say, isn't it? Because I think Matic is better than Fred. But surely most people, even people who think Fred's better than Matic,
they can't think it by much.
They can't think it by much. Surely,
no,
surely. Else you don't know what you're looking at.
I think Matic is 10 times the player than Fred is. I honestly do. Right. Not even in the same league. Not in the same league. Yeah. It's like a little...
Go on. Who's up next? Anyone else?
Loads in the comment.
Right.
Aaron, Ricky, what were your thoughts on Ander Herrera? I was gutted when he left.
Devastated when he left. Loads of people. I mean, I don't know whether he included him in the Deadwood comment, which I hated. But some obviously would have done. But I was gutted when he left. He's playing well still. I know he only come on as a sub. I watched him playing the Nou Camp the other night. He's just a quality footballer. Ander Herrera. I was devastated when he left. And I've gone on record to saying that it's only a sideways step at best. The centre backs that we've bought and we've replaced to replace Chris Smalling. I'm not having it that there's much between them, and the money that we've spent. Roma are doing perfectly fine in Serie A. They're in the top 4. I don't know if he's injured at the moment. I noticed he wasn't even on the bench the other night, so there must have been a problem. I'm certain he's been raved about there. Inter Milan are top of Serie A. Ashley Young plays nearly every game. He didn't play the last one, I noticed, but he does play nearly every game. Look, we've spent money on fullbacks, and I know he's getting on. I don't care. It's about fielding a strong team when you're playing. Ashley Young, we've sold him to Inter Milan. He plays virtually every game. They're top of Serie A. If one of our fullbacks, maybe Luke Shaw, would be in Inter Milan's team, but if Wan-Bissaka was playing for Inter Milan, I doubt very much that it'd be in the starting 11 regularly. I really do.
Josh and Ali, Ricky, just back to your point that Maguire, Wan-Bissaka and Bruno never get a rest.
Yeah, Wan-Bissaka, Maguire and Bruno seem to be irreplaceable, don't they? I think Bruno's going to have a tough time tonight. I really do. Look, I hope I'm wrong. One day it might click into place. But I'm not a massive fan of Rashford. Look, you don't need to jump down my throat. I'm not convinced Greenwood's as good as people think he is, and and obviously, look, everybody goes on about Dan James, and tonight he's getting a game, and he's got to link up with Mason, and that could work. James might get some good balls across. Greenwood might score a couple of goals tonight. It could happen, but I just think players play better with better players, and I don't think it's a great team we've got out. So I think Dan James might struggle. I know Bruno plays every game, but with Marcus and Mason as his target people, I think it could be tough. I really do.
Be interesting tonight if we do see James getting the ball into the box on a regular occurrence, and Greenwood does happen to benefit from that. In the next game, Greenwood would be back in on the right for his merit from scoring goals, and Greenwood would be out, and our centre forwards would be back feeding off scraps. That's
a great point. I hope everyone followed that. I'll say it again, it is a great point. If Dan James plays on the wing tonight, which he's obviously going to play on one wing or the other, and if Mason plays at number 9 and scores a couple of goals from Mason's crosses, come the weekend, from James's crosses, come the weekend, Martial or Cavani will be at number 9, Mason will be on the right wing, and James will be on the bench
again. Joseph Santos, hope James has a good game. He provides us with good shape, his defensive work along with his threatening behind.
100% agree with that.
PJ Hans querying your Marshall thing. He's a fan. PJ's in the chat all the time. Ricky, I love the content, but didn't like the fact that you didn't show bad clips of Marshall.
Yeah, somebody mentioned that, and I did put a response to it on the YouTube chat, whatever you call it, in the chat. I did show a couple of the poor things, but I did say, and I think I said it at the start of the show, the Evening News gave him 3 out of 10. And he was getting berated for his performance. So I've given him a 5, which obviously is considerably higher than a 3. It's not 1 point. In fact, I've got my ratings in front of me. 3 is very poor, and 5 is average. And having watched it 2 or 3 times, by the way, I was tempted to give him a 6, which is above average. I also said in the show that when you're marking these things, what does average mean? Or poor, or very good. What does it actually mean? Does it mean in comparison to how you can play or how you played normally? Or is it in comparison to your teammates around you? Because I've watched that game enough I'll tell you hand on heart, he was at least above average compared to the teammates around him. He was one of the better players. Or if you'd rather put it this way, because people don't want to hear that I thought he played well. But let's put it this way: he was one of the least poor players. So he was worth his average mark, at least average. So getting back to the point, when I'm trying to show the fact that he was worth that mark, I'm obviously going to show the good bits, aren't I? It's not a bias, if you like. I'm actually showing you why and the things that he did well and why he should have been rated more highly. Okay, I could have showed a couple of other poor bits. I did show a couple. But to be honest, there's not that many. There isn't that many.
And like you say, the whole point of the thread was to
show that
demonstrate why you've marked him up from what the paper had been at.
Yeah, if it was somebody that had marked really low and I was trying to show why I'd marked him really low, then I'd be showing the bad bits, wouldn't I?
Yeah, of course. Alex Catlin, Rick, don't you think playing Donny tonight could have been essential, keeping the ball against a solid Spanish side?
I'd love to see. Excuse me. Watch for see if Paul's watching. DJ Soulmate, whatever he's called. Yeah. Are you watching, Paul? Come in the comments now if you are. Van der Beek. I'd love to have seen him play tonight. They've left him at home. Said he's got a knock. I'm a bit confused by that. I often look at these. I think of them as like conspiracy theories, if you like. He played for 15 minutes at the weekend. He didn't seem to get a knock. He didn't come off the pitch limping. He didn't zoom in on him or anything.
Something you pick up in training.
It could be anything. But I just sometimes think like Cavani as well. Cavani's been left at home. He's 34. It wouldn't surprise me one little bit in Cavani's case if they've said to Cavani, look, you've played Sunday. We want you to play again next Sunday. We're not even going to use you at all. Won't surprise me one little bit.
Don't bother travelling.
Don't bother travelling. just stay at home. We'll say you're injured. I don't know if these things go on. It's just my suggestion. And then to twist that round to Van der Beek as well, it's got to be possible. Is it even possible that they've said, look, we're not going to play you again, and the press is going to go, could this happen? The press are going to go mad, the pundits are going to go mad if you're on the bench for a Europa League game, and we was going to put you on the bench, but to save all the hassle, stay at home. You know what I mean? It could happen. It could happen.
All the responses have come in there for that shows how far I am down with the chat, by the way, but everyone's responded with a short higher position. So
right.
Like it's sent anywhere in like kind of the front four positions type of thing. So 9, 10, 11.
Yeah. I need to start watching more of the under-23s. I've heard them raving about him. I'll tell you who I have seen once. I did watch one game, and it was a good few months ago. Is he called Joe Hugill or something? Hugill?
I'm not sure.
Google him. Google Joe Hug. Somebody will come in the comments and tell he looks a proper player. I only had to watch him the once.
Right.
Lovely first touch, dead sensible, gets a back, makes himself available, plays a bit like Anthony Marshall.
Right.
dead sensible. I do like that Joe Hugill, I think he's called. And I've only seen him the once. As I say, I'd like to watch him again soon. But I saw him months and months ago, and he's getting rave reviews at the moment. So I'd like to see him get a chance at some stage.
Torman, hi everyone. I don't have a question, but can you just say hi to Rick for me?
Hi Torman.
Yeah, Hugill, fantastic striker. He scored 4 versus Liverpool a few weeks ago, according to Aaron.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
Proper goal scorer.
It was the way he played that took my eye. Not the goals. It was the way he played. Yeah.
Football philosophy. What do you think of Dan James starting on the left wing today? Happy with that?
Will it be on the left? I'm happy with him getting a start. I mean, if he's on the left, I imagine, because they've been, the pundits have been moaning about Rashford on the right. So if he's on the left, I think Mason will stay on the right and Rashford at 9. And I don't think Rashford's very good at 9 whatsoever. I don't think he's good enough with his back to goal, not strong enough. It could be a bit of a shambles, I think. I think the best format for this particular set of 3 to play, I think would be James on the right and Rashford on the left and Greenwood at 9.
Yeah. Ricky, what's your opinions on Jimmy Garner?
Neat and tidy player, looks alright. Not watched him often enough. It's difficult to catch somebody. I've just said about Joe Hugill, I only had to watch him once, and maybe that might be it might be an interesting point now. Like, if somebody catches your eye instantaneously, does it mean that he's going to have a much better chance? Because I've watched Garner, I've watched him a few times, and the other lad, Levitt, who plays in the centre of the midfield. And they're both neat and tidy players. I think they've got a chance in the game. Whether they've got a chance of making it at the level that United should be playing at, I'm not really sure. But they do look like decent players.
BL Gamer, watch their striker tonight, Rick. Alexander Isak, 6'4", very strong, powerful, good finisher.
Exactly the opposite to Marcus Rashford then.
I think is he Swedish?
No.
I think he's Swedish.
Is it?
Yeah. Cavani, top quality. United Wii Sport. Star reckons that Dan James will be playing in his favoured left wing role tonight, and Marcus will be playing at centre forward.
Mason on the right.
Interesting to see. Okay. Angus Fraser, Rick, have you been watching much Champions League?
No, I've not watched the Champions League. I watched. What did I watch? Who played the night before? Last I watched a bit the night before. Liverpool played. Yeah, I watched PSG and Barcelona. Didn't watch the Liverpool game, and I didn't watch any last night. I watched two thoroughly decent games last night. I watched Fulham and Burnley, and I watched Everton v City. I thought Everton did absolutely fantastic for an hour, but City was just too good for them in the end.
Phil Mann, people say United are nothing without Bruno. Have you seen how Sporting are tearing up their league?
Absolutely tearing it up, aren't they?
Yeah.
It fascinates me, that. It really does. Look, I don't want to make this the anti-Bruno show, I really don't, but the people that you hear that many people saying, where would we be without Bruno? Right now, those same people, if you was to say to them, let's just say Bruno had always been with us, or say we'd signed him from, I don't know, say we'd signed him from West Ham. If you said to those people, imagine what Bruno would do if he went and played for a team in a little league like in Portugal, or if he went and played in Sweden, or even one of the bigger leagues like France or Italy, and they'd go, wow, he'd walk it. You know, he'd smashed this many in and he'd smashed that many in. Well, he's left Sporting Lisbon. They've never finished higher than third with him, and they're 10 points clear at the top this season.
Yeah.
I think they've already won the cup as well.
It puts into focus that argument all the time that we talk about where people seem to think that you won't replace somebody's goals if he's not there. You won't get them goals.
That's not how it works.
You
won't get the exact same goals. You might not even score the same amount of goals, but you might score more. You really don't know until you try it.
The goals that he scored playing at Sporting, they are not now without someone else is scoring.
Someone else is scoring them. Yeah,
it's that simple.
Yeah, it's that simple. Yeah, and it might be spread amongst numerous players.
Yeah, because the argument to try and get Van der Beek into the side is that we prefer to play that style of football,
Correct.
more conservative and considered in possession, more intent about it rather than speculative in our possession. And yet the argument that comes back so often is, look how much he gets. Look at the stats that you get out of a player like that.
Yeah.
But
you might not need those figures.
You might not need,
or you hope that you wouldn't. Well, clearly Sporting Lisbon are not needing them, are they?
No,
they're not needed.
No, and I think this is why so often it comes across like you're so anti-Bruno. It's obvious that it's obvious that it comes across that way because the overwhelming majority of United fans are so pro Bruno, and all using that statistical evidence to back up why they're pro Bruno, and yet it obviously doesn't matter. And your angle is
I've got no statistics to use, have I?
No, there is no statistics. You just got to show, well, it doesn't matter. I want us to play better football.
I just want us to play better.
Yeah, and we will score goals anyway. And the proof of that is that Sporting are scoring plenty of goals without him being there.
Plenty of goals.
Exactly. Mohammed, Rick, what were your thoughts on Ravel Morrison when he first broke through?
Oh, he looked fantastic. Yeah, he did look a great player, Ravel Morrison. I don't know what happened to him in his career. I don't think he's been very sensible, has he? Where is he now, Ravel Morrison? Still playing, isn't he?
I'm not sure.
I'm sure he's still with the club.
I'm not sure.
How are we doing? What time is it?
We are on 5:15.
Right, okay. Another 10 minutes.
Yeah, United we support Haaland or Mbappe. Be a nice partnership, wouldn't it?
Yeah, Haaland or Mbappe. Mbappe, I watched that game the other night. That's the one Champions League game that I've watched, PSG. And he's just absolutely awesome, Mbappe. The pace of him. Wow. What's a player? But I'd love to, I've not seen a lot of Haaland, but you do see the clips of his goals and that, don't you? He's just a beast, isn't he?
He's a beast, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, such a physical specimen.
Either one of them would do. With Anthony Martial just behind, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, he's what you call it. Like you say, he's such a beast. He's fast and such a powerful runner into that Haaland. He gobbles up the ground.
And he can't half hit it as well. He smashes it.
Yeah,
I think we might see Mbappe and Martial playing together in the summer, might we?
Yeah,
we might do. I think Martial's coming into favour with the manager there.
Yeah.
Go on, anyone else?
Right, Lloyd. Can you see Greenwood being a number 9 eventually? He's put in 3 or 4 years' time.
Yeah, I think he's come through as a striker, and I think most people seem to think that it's his best position. I certainly don't think. Look, as a winger, as a wide right player, I know everybody's raving about Mason Greenwood, but I think he's just okay. Which is great for a 19-year-old kid. He should be. I think he's 18 or 19. But look, whether he's 18 or 19. Just to be able to hold your own in the Premier League is a credit to you.
Absolutely.
Absolute fantastic. You can't ask for more. But at the same time, he's playing on the right for Man United. Now, I think there's lots and lots of Premier League teams that he wouldn't get into their team if he was playing wide on the right. From what I've seen of him. Doesn't matter how good he might be when he's 23 or 24.
Yeah.
We want to do well now. We want to be in the Champions League next season. We want to try and challenge for the league title this season. And for example, certain teams play with certain styles. Loads of people might laugh at this, and loads of people might come in the comments. Somebody might even clip it and put it on Twitter. But teams play with the fashion that they play because the players suit the style that they want to play. And for example, Burnley play with Goodmanson on the right. He's a midfield player who gets forward occasionally. They've got to set themselves up. Now, Burnley are a smaller club and they need to set themselves up in a fashion that they're going to be tighter, they're going to be more compact, they're not going to let so many goals in. That's the first target for a team like Burnley. They couldn't afford, so this isn't a slight against him, I'm not even going to say his name. But what I'm going to say is they cannot afford to have a wide right forward who's a forward who comes back a bit. They need to have a midfield player who gets forward a bit. There's a difference.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to mention his name again because somebody will clip it and put it on Twitter. But if he was, I'm not saying he won't be in their team. He might be at number 9. Not blah blah blah. Not saying that. But if he was at Burnley, he wouldn't get in their team wide on the right. He won't get in West Ham's team in front of Jared Bowen either. He's more of a wide right player who's a midfield player who knows the right moments to get forward, rather than being a forward who's forced to get back a little bit. They've got themselves set up, tight, compact, and the wide men have got the defensive duties, not equally as important, even more important than their attacking duties. And the fact that he might score a few extra goals, which he isn't doing, by the way, at the moment, the fact that he might score, I bet Jared Bowen's probably got 4 or 5 goals this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that he might score a few more goals doesn't cut it. It's about being compact. West Ham would not be where they are today if they had a right winger who wasn't really a midfield player.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have quite so many points.
Yeah. We need to start looking at the game more like that, don't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know who we think we are.
I don't know who we think we are, no.
Who do you think you are?
Who do you think we are, yeah.
Scuba diver Montel Porter, Rick, do you think Chong can make it at United?
I like Chong. I really, really like Chong. I was at the cup tie against Wolves over 12 months ago now, where he played the first game. It went to a replay, and I really thought he looks a good player. Is he on loan somewhere at the minute?
I'm not sure what's going on with him recently, to be honest.
What I've seen of Chong, I think he's got a great chance of having a great career. Really do.
Yeah. Scully Kane, do you think we can play 4-4-2 with Cavani and Marshall up top?
Yes.
We've seen both players coming back when we lose the ball in our half. Cavani can be more of a poacher and Tony more like a York.
Yeah, 100%. Who's asked that question?
Scully Kane.
Scully, absolutely great point, mate. Honestly, I've said that. I put something on Twitter the other week and people were saying, oh, we've got a number 10 Marshall. Like Dwight York did, he used to just drop back in a little bit to help out and to look for the ball. I'll leave Coley as the main man. Or Sheringham and Solskjaer, the same. Sheringham used to drop back looking for the ball. And Anthony Marshall's really good at just dropping in, finding little pockets of space, putting the ball out to the winger or the fullback and then getting in the box. And when you do it that way, you're then coming into the box as the ball comes in. They always, it's quite fun. I think this is funny anyway. They always call it on the TV. They call it arriving late in the box, don't they? I call it arriving bang on time. Right? So I like it when like Dwight York was great at it. Come short, receive it, either give it back to a midfield player who feeds it to the wing, or maybe pass it out to the wing himself and then run into the box. So as the cross is coming into the box, you're running into the box, and you've got the run on the centre backs, and you've got an advantage over them because you're running, whereas they're more or less standing, waiting for it to come in, and you're running in, and it's a brilliant position for an intelligent player like Dwight York or Teddy Sheringham, and I think Martial could do it. I was about to say equally as well, but they were truly great players. You know, maybe not equally as well, but I think he'd make a good fist of it.
Rohan has put, he could be the other way. Sporting are doing so well because Teller's left Porto.
It could be, yeah. It's not Porto that are running away with it, though, is it?
Yeah.
It's not. Sorry, it's not. Oh yeah, Porto. Yeah, he's right. I get his point. Yeah,
Yeah.
get his point. And Benfica have slips as well, haven't they? Though?
Josh Harper, it's an embarrassment that Liverpool play so well with so many players out. That should be a sacking offence for a Man United manager who's been in a job for 2 years. Yeah, because you still hear that, don't you? We still need to back our manager. He still needs a centre half, or he's not quite going to kick onto that level to go and compete because they've not really backed him.
It's a tricky one, isn't it? You know, tricky
I
one.
think it's
£80 million for one centre back.
50 million with a right back. Just don't buy them.
Just don't buy them. Yeah, could have saved that 50 million.
And just carried on playing.
I've got no doubt in my mind that we would be equally well off with Ashley Young at right back.
If you don't say Ashley Young's name, you could just say we could have not spent 50 million quid and would just have Inter Milan's right back instead.
Yeah,
because he's now Inter Milan's right back.
He plays left back a lot, but go on.
Do you know what I mean?
Matty O'Damian's on the bench for Inter Milan. He gets plenty of game time.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it?
Must be time up. How are we doing?
Yeah, we're getting there. 25 past.
Right, one more question then.
Hate when you do that because I don't know which one to pick.
Oh, right.
Yeah, there's a
see if it's a
super
quick
chat
one. If
here
it's
that
a
someone's put in.
Go on then. Go on
Phil,
then.
man, keep one and sell the other. Mason, Marcus.
I'd have to say, keep Mason.
Yeah.
Would you?
I think you'd have to because
Yeah.
at the end of the day,
he's
if you look at the age,
yeah.
you've got more chance of
Yeah.
Greenwood becoming a player.
Yeah.
Rashford's.
Yeah, he's already
He's already eating up the years, and it looks like he's heading.
Yeah. It's just
Looks like he's heading in the direction of Jesse Lingard to me. I think he'll be on the bench for West Ham in the next 3 or 4 years.
right. Cool.
Um,
But I would agree. Definitely keep Mason. Yeah.
Yeah. Ricky, would Bruno do well under Pep or Klopp?
He'd probably do better. The difference that you see, the way they play and the way they set up their team, I'm sure he'd do better. But I'll tell you this for a fact: if he was playing for one of those two clubs and playing like he plays for us, with or without the goals, he'd be dropped. He won't get away. He won't get away with being, giving the ball away so easy so often. Sometimes when not under pressure, trying so many difficult ones, he wouldn't be in either of their teams. I think it's time for us to go, isn't it?
Time for us to go. Let's wrap it up.
Thanks very much for that, everybody who's been watching. If you've enjoyed that show, please tell all your friends. Please subscribe. If you didn't enjoy it, don't tell anybody. Keep stum.